gut detox, how to repair and clean your gut naturally. Your gut bacteria are starving, and because they have nothing to eat, they started eating you. This isn't a metaphor, it's happening right now. When you starve your internal ecosystem of the fuel it needs, those trillions of bacteria stop processing your food and start digesting the protective mucus lining of your own intestines. This internal cannibalism is the hidden trigger behind the brain fog you can't shake, the bloating that makes your genes uncomfortable by 3 p.m., and the chronic fatigue that turns every afternoon into a struggle. But here's what nobody tells you. Your gut has a self-cleaning mechanism that most people accidentally disable multiple times a day. It's called the migrating motor complex. And right now, you're blocking it every time you reach for a snack. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 biological mechanisms that control gut health, why your constant grazing is destroying your intestinal lining, and the exact protocol to reactivate your body's built-in cleaning system. If you've tried probiotics, detoxes, and elimination diets without results, this is why. Mechanism 1, the migrating motor complex. Your small intestine doesn't work like a conveyor belt. It has 2 completely separate modes, eating mode and cleaning mode, and it can only be in one at a time. When you eat, your gut is focused on breaking down food and absorbing nutrients, but the deep cleaning, the part that prevents bacterial overgrowth and removes cellular debris, can only happen when your stomach is completely empty. This cleaning system is called the migrating motor complex, or MMC. Think of it as an internal street sweeper. Every 90 to 120 minutes after your last bite of food, this powerful wave of muscular contraction sweeps through your small intestine, pushing undigested food particles, dead cells, and bacteria down into your colon where they belong. But here's the critical rule. The street sweeper only comes out when the street is empty. Your stomach needs to be empty for at least 90 minutes before the MMC even begins, and once it starts, the full cleaning cycle takes another 90 minutes to complete. If you eat anything during this window, even a handful of nuts or a protein shake, the cleaning cycle stops immediately. The moment calories enter your stomach, the MMC shuts down, the street sweeper goes back into the garage, and the bacteria that were supposed to be cleared out, they stay exactly where they are. In the modern world, we graze constantly. Breakfast at 7 a.m., mid-morning snack at 10, lunch at 12:30, afternoon coffee with cream at 3, dinner at 7, late night bowl of cereal at 10 p.m. We're eating every 2 to 3 hours all day long because we never stop eating. The cleaning crew never gets a shift. And this has disastrous consequences. When the MMC doesn't run, bacteria accumulate in the small intestine. They begin fermenting undigested food particles, producing gas and bloating. This leads to a condition called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Your small intestine, which should have relatively few bacteria, becomes overcrowded. The bacteria that belong in your colon migrate upward and colonize areas they shouldn't. These displaced bacteria interfere with nutrient absorption. They produce toxic byproducts that inflame your gut lining. And over time, they begin breaking down the protective mucus barrier and digesting your intestinal cells because there's nothing else left to eat. The fix isn't a supplement, it's space. Research shows that spacing meals by 4 to 5 hours without snacking allows the MMC to complete a full cleaning cycle. This means eating 2 to 3 meals per day with nothing in between except water, black coffee, or tea. When you hear your stomach rumble between meals and you're not genuinely hungry, that's not a distress signal. That's the sound of the street sweeper doing its job. By simply closing the kitchen between meals, you allow your gut to self-clean the way it was designed to. Mechanism 2, the fiber diversity principle. Now that we've established that the gut needs time to clean, we have to look at what lives inside it. You are host to approximately 100 trillion bacteria. For most of human history, we thought bacteria were enemies. Now we understand they're more like soil in a garden. If the soil is barren, nothing grows. If the soil is rich and diverse, the entire ecosystem thrives. The mistake most people make is buying a generic probiotic supplement and expecting it to fix their gut. This is like throwing a handful of seeds onto concrete. If the environment isn't right, they won't take root. The single most effective way to build a healthy gut environment is through fiber diversity, not just fiber, diversity. Here's why. Different bacterial species eat different types of fiber. Some bacteria prefer the inulin found in onions and garlic. Others thrive on the resistant starch in cooked and cooled potatoes. Others need the pectin in apples or the beta-glucan in oats. When you eat the same foods every day, you're only feeding a narrow subset of bacteria. The species you don't feed eventually die off. Your microbiome becomes less diverse, and a less diverse microbiome is weaker, more prone to inflammation, and more easily overtaken by harmful bacteria. The American Gut Project, one of the largest microbiome studies ever conducted, analyzed thousands of participants, they found that the single strongest predictor of a healthy, diverse microbiome wasn't total fiber intake. It was the number of different plant species consumed per week, the magic number. 30 different plants per week? This sounds overwhelming, but it's more achievable than you think. This includes vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, herbs, and spices. A single salad with spinach, arugula, tomatoes, cucumbers, red onion, sunflower seeds, and olive oil is already 7 plants. Add basil and black pepper, and you're at 9. The goal isn't to eat massive quantities of each plant, it's to eat a little bit of many different plants. A small handful of walnuts, a sprinkle of chia seeds on your yogurt, a teaspoon of turmeric in your soup. Each plant feeds a different bacterial species. When you increase diversity, you create a resilient ecosystem. The good bacteria crowd out the bad. They produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which heal your gut lining and reduce systemic inflammation. Your immune system strengthens because 70% of it lives in your gut. Your brain function improves because your gut produces 90% of your serotonin. This isn't about eating more, it's about eating wider. Mechanism 3, circadian eating alignment. We focus obsessively on what we eat, but when we eat is just as important. Your digestive system doesn't operate at the same efficiency 24 hours a day. It has a rhythm just like your sleep-wake cycle. Your body processes food significantly better earlier in the day than it does at night. Here's the biology. Your insulin sensitivity is highest in the morning and declines throughout the day. Your digestive enzymes are more active during daylight hours. Your liver's ability to process glucose and fat is strongest before sunset. Think of digestion like a factory with 2 shifts. The day shift is fully staffed and running at peak efficiency. The night shift is a skeleton crew operating at reduced capacity. When you eat a heavy meal at 9 p.m., you're dumping a massive workload onto the night shift that's already gone home. Your body struggles to process it. Blood sugar stays elevated for hours longer than it would if you ate the same meal at noon. Insulin remains high, signaling fat storage instead of fat burning. And because digestion requires significant energy, your body can't focus on deep sleep or cellular repair. There's also a feedback loop between your gut bacteria and your circadian rhythm. Certain bacteria help produce serotonin and melatonin, the chemicals that regulate sleep. When you eat late at night, you disrupt their rhythm, which disrupts your sleep. Poor sleep increases cravings for sugar and processed food the next day. Those foods feed bad bacteria, which further disrupt sleep. It's a vicious cycle. The solution is time-restricted eating. This doesn't mean starving yourself. It means confining your eating to a window that aligns with your body's active phase. Try eating only between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. or 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. A 10 to 12 hour eating window. This gives your gut 12 to 14 hours of fasting overnight, during which the intestinal lining can regenerate without the interference of active digestion. Studies show that even without changing what you eat, simply restricting when you eat improves metabolic markers, reduces inflammation, and enhances gut barrier function. Your body evolved to eat during the day and fast at night. When you honor that rhythm, everything works better. Mechanism 4, the vagus nerve switch. You can eat the perfect diet, space your meals correctly, and still have digestive problems if this one mechanism is broken. It's called the vagus nerve. This nerve is the physical connection between your brain and your gut. It's a two-way communication highway, but the traffic flow is controlled by one thing, your stress level. Your nervous system has 2 modes, fight or flight, which is driven by stress, and rest and digest, which is driven by relaxation. You cannot be in both modes simultaneously. Biologically, if you're running from a threat, or more realistically, if you're stressed about work, your body perceives danger. It redirects blood flow away from your digestive organs and toward your muscles to prepare you to fight or flee. Digestion is considered non-essential. Survival is the priority. This means if you eat while you're anxious, rushing, or scrolling through stressful content, your digestive system is essentially turned off. Your stomach produces less acid, gut motility slows, enzymes aren't released properly, food sits in your stomach and ferments instead of being broken down. This creates gas, bloating, and discomfort. Digestion doesn't begin in your mouth, it begins in your brain. Before you can properly digest food, you have to activate the rest and digest mode. The longest living populations in the world treat meals as slow, relaxed events. This isn't just cultural tradition, it's physiology. They're activating their vagus nerve before eating. Here's how you do it. Before your first bite, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Make your exhale longer than your inhale. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale for 6 to 8 seconds. This simple act physically stimulates the vagus nerve. It sends a signal from your body to your brain that says, we are safe, it's okay to digest. Your brain responds by turning digestion back on. Stomach acid increases, gut motility activates, enzymes are released. It takes 30 seconds, but it changes how your body processes that entire meal. If you're eating at your desk while answering emails, or in your car while driving, or standing over the sink scrolling your phone, you're eating with the power off, and no amount of healthy food will fix that. Mechanism 5, eliminate the toxic assault. We spend so much energy trying to add things to our diet, more vegetables, more probiotics, more supplements, but in biology, subtraction is often more powerful than addition. Right now, you're exposing your gut to chemicals that act like bombs to your microbiome, and until you stop the assault, nothing else you do will fully work. The first culprit is antibiotics. Antibiotics save lives. In a true emergency, they're miraculous, but they're massively overused. They're prescribed for viral infections where they do nothing. They're consumed passively through non-organic meat because livestock are fed antibiotics to promote growth. When you take antibiotics, they don't discriminate. They kill bad bacteria, but they also wipe out the good bacteria you've spent years cultivating. It's like setting fire to a forest. You might kill the invasive species, but you also destroy the entire ecosystem. It can take 6 months to a year for your microbiome diversity to recover. The second assault comes from pesticides. Many fruits and vegetables are sprayed with chemicals designed to kill weeds and insects. When you eat conventionally grown produce, you consume trace amounts of these pesticides, and while they're considered safe for humans in small doses, they're designed to kill bacteria. Your gut bacteria or bacteria. These chemicals disrupt your internal ecosystem. The third source is tap water. Most municipal water is chlorinated to kill harmful bacteria in the pipes. That's important for public safety, but when you drink chlorinated water all day, every day, you're introducing a mild antimicrobial agent into your system constantly. It's a low-level attack on your gut flora. The strategy here is defensive. You can't avoid everything, but you can reduce your exposure. Choose organic for the dirty dozen, the fruits and vegetables that absorb the most pesticides: strawberries, spinach, kale, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, potatoes, and bell peppers. Use a simple carbon filter for your drinking water to remove chlorine and other contaminants. Avoid unnecessary antibiotics. If you have a bacterial infection that requires them, take them, but don't demand antibiotics for a cold or flu. And when you do take antibiotics, follow up with a high-quality, multi-strain probiotic for at least a month afterward to rebuild diversity. By reducing the daily chemical load, you give the other 4 mechanisms, the MMC, fiber diversity, circadian eating, and vagus nerve activation, the space they need to actually work. The unified philosophy: think of your gut like a house. You can't keep the house clean if you're constantly tracking in mud, if you never give the cleaners time to work, and if the electrical system is constantly short-circuiting. To genuinely repair your gut, you don't need a detox tea or a miracle supplement. You need to respect the operating system. Give the street sweeper time to work. Space your meals by 4 to 5 hours with no snacking in between. Feed a diverse ecosystem. Eat 30 different plant species per week to nourish a wide range of beneficial bacteria. Align with your circadian rhythm. Stop eating late at night. Give your gut 12 to 14 hours of overnight fasting. Activate rest and digest mode. Breathe deeply before meals to turn on your vagus nerve and enable proper digestion. Stop the toxic assault. Filter your water. Choose organic when possible and avoid unnecessary antibiotics. These aren't hacks, they're the biological basics your body has been asking for. The beauty of the gut is that it's incredibly forgiving. The cells lining your intestines replace themselves every 3 to 5 days. Your microbiome can shift dramatically in just 2 weeks when you change your inputs. Most people wait for a diagnosis to start caring about this. They wait till the bloating is unbearable, the fatigue is chronic, or the brain fog is interfering with work. But the real power is in prevention. It's in the quiet daily decisions nobody sees. It's the decision to wait that extra hour before eating, to choose variety over convenience, to take 3 deep breaths before lunch. These small actions build a resilience that allows you to age not just with a longer lifespan, but with a life that actually feels good to live. Your gut bacteria aren't your enemies, they're your allies, but they need the right environment to do their job. Stop grazing, start spacing, eat diverse plants, align with daylight, breathe before eating, reduce toxins. Do this consistently for 2 weeks and you'll feel the difference. Your bloating will decrease, your energy will stabilize, your brain fog will lift. Which of these 5 mechanisms is your weakest link right now? Comment below. And if you want to know why sugar cravings are actually a gut bacteria problem, that video is next. This is Doc Sketch. I'll see you in the next one.